Am I framed well?
You're framed perfectly. You know I sweat the details. All right, special occasion. Today is my first day with them skates, and it's the 4th of July, so we all have the day off. So I was lucky enough to find some time to hang out with the Raleigh crew and meet up with Long, who is the owner of Oak City Skate Shop. Long is the person that I got my skates from. He's went out to California to ship orders and help John unpack and unload the shipment as soon as it came in. So yeah, thanks for the time, Long. Thanks for coming over. So we're at Oak City Skate Shop right now. Tell me a little bit about. So I got a lot of questions. Tell me a little bit about the trip. So why did you go to California?
Well, it just seemed like having the skates shipped from California to North Carolina would have delayed the shipments of other people too long. I was just doing the math, and I was like, pre-orders wouldn't get to people, but like 8 or 9 days after it getting shipped from California. So it just didn't seem like the right choice. So it just seemed better to fly myself out there and ship everything direct. So get it to the customer faster.
And what was that day like when they? I mean, you were there before they showed up, right?
Yeah, it was really quiet, and we were just all kind of waiting. You could feel the anxiety, but the moment that the container got there, it was nonstop work. John had a broken hand. Jason Reyna had jammed his thumb, so one of his hands wasn't working that well. And then I had just showed up, so I was the only healthy body. But everything worked out great. Just a lot of positivity, and it was great. It was a great experience, and I could say that we all worked very hard to just get everything in place.
Yeah. So I just skated my them skates. I picked them up on Monday. You were able to skate them out. We have a pair, each color. What do you think about them? What's your first impressions after skating them?
After looking at a lot of different skates, it's most definitely not a Seba CJ Wellsmore, or it's not anything like a carbon fiber boot, but honestly, I've never been that big on spending that much money on skates anyways. We rub these on concrete all day. So to buy something that's carbon fiber that isn't going to get as readily replaced isn't something that I'm that interested in. With that being said, I think that this is probably one of the better boots to buy that are under $170, $160 area. Very pleased. I've been very pleased, and I don't have to take them off, which I think is kind of important. Most other skates I have to, there's a pretty heavy break-in period. I felt with this like open shell design, it was just a little bit better on my feet.
I found that too. So I skated them. These ones are mine. These ones, and I skated them today. And yeah, I had the same feeling where the lacing system really helped pull things in. Like, I'm a big fan of that 45-degree strap, and I didn't have any like heel raise issues. When you're skating, it doesn't feel like your foot slips up. I did have that problem. With a USDA on, even though it has a 45-degree strap, I felt like I would move around a lot in there with the Valo V13. I did not have the problem with this. It was a very solid ride. What's your favorite color?
Black.
Are you black?
Yeah, I'm a black guy.
I'm a black guy too.
Because it just looks unscuffed, and
yeah,
like
because you fall.
Yeah, and once again, I'm just rubbing this stuff on concrete, so I noticed that the black always just tends to look a little bit nicer and newer. I do like white skates, but they just dirty up so quick.
Yeah, totally. So I'm riding a size medium. They come in 3 sizes: the small, the medium, and the large. What's the size breakdown? What would you recommend for what size foot?
So what I would say, and I mean this is just from my experience. I mean I wouldn't say that I would be the person to go to absolutely, but this fits me very similar to what a 8.9 Volvo V13 or Majestic 12 shell would have fit. Um, it's a little boxier, so instead of being so pointy, it's a little bit more accommodating here. So even though it might be a little short for some people, the width is really going to be a lot more accommodating. Same thing goes for these. I would say that the medium is the closest to like a 10 to 10.5. Majestic 12 Volvo V13 shell. It is also a lot more accommodating in width, and I found that people are more likely to be able, like if you're like a 10.5 and you're like on the edge, you're still going to be comfortable in this. You might have to switch out the liner, but you know, from my experience, it seems like 10 and a halves have been very good in this. So I think the 11-12 is more for like the 12 to 13 areas, 12.5 to, you know, 11.5, I guess. Yeah.
So this is our friend Anwar's setup, and this is a medium shell.
Medium shell.
So
and it's an 11 MyFit liner.
So it's an 11 liner. MyFit, which one is it?
Second skin.
The second skin. So the second skin is less padding, more form-fitting.
Yeah, and I actually have his liner, so you can kind
of.
of.
Yeah, let me take a look.
So this is the liner that it came with.
Okay.
And then if you pull out this one, I mean, internally it just looks a lot thinner.
Oh yeah. So
you know.
I mean, if you comparing, like if this was 20 mil, this would be like 10 mil. It's also got a stretchier tongue, like where the toes are, and this is a very solid where the toes are. Thinner, yeah.
Yeah, it's just overall just really thin.
So you would recommend, if they wanted to upgrade the liner, to get a medium boot if you're a size 11 and get something like this, or you know.
And it doesn't work on all cases. It's just like
absolutely.
Anwar's foot happens to be a little bit more narrow. He's more a 10.5. He wears 11s because most 10.5s don't fit him. So this was a great option for him.
Awesome. That's a good option. Brilliant. Yeah. Them are available at Oak City Skate Shop and other fine retailers, or you can go to themgoods.com. Definitely check them out. I will have a video up later today, and I'll have a review in a month. I'm really impressed. I think that for the price point, it's a skate that's going to be hard to beat. If you have in the market for a new skate, or if you have a skate shop near you, definitely owe it to yourself to go down and try them on. Thanks. All right, end of segment one. I want to try to get a couple things in. Let's see if anyone's... All right, I think we got most of the questions. Frames. All right, so I want to talk about, since a lot of the audience is getting back into blading, I want to talk about what you would recommend for somebody who maybe they skated 15 years ago, and maybe they still have their old Solomons or their old, you know, Thrones or something like that. What would you recommend? Like, what's a good way for people, if they're getting back into blading, to get up to speed and get themselves a nice fit so that they can go out and skate? Because the bearings, the wheels, and the cuff, you know, that's all old material. Like, chances are they're not going to have a good experience. Things will break, and you know, they might get injured. Right? What? I'm sure you deal with this question a lot. Like, what do you recommend?
So like they have their skates ready to go.
Yeah.
Or they have like boots, but they're like looking to like revamp their.
They could or they couldn't have their boots. So say that I came into the shop and I skated 15 years ago. I had a pair of Josh Petty Thrones, right? Yeah. And I want to get skating again. What would you recommend? Like, should I skate those old skates? Should I try to get new skates? Like, what are the things that you
Oh
would
yeah,
you would advise
Oh,
that they
yeah,
improve initially?
yeah. Okay, well, I mean, honestly, it's tough because like case by case,
Case by case, for
case
sure.
by case. But I mean, if we all lived in a world where we could afford whatever, I would
Right.
always say go ahead and get yourself some of the new equipment. I feel like technology's not really any different, but material structure is like they make better plastics now than they did 20 years ago. Other than Solomon, Solomon's the shit.
Right.
So I mean, and it is nice because I think that being able to look at something like a new piece of equipment
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes motivates me to get out there and skate more. So I
For
mean,
sure.
I feel like honestly, like most of the time when I talk to people and they ask like, what's going to help me get back into skating, I feel like getting something like that you're happy with, that's comfortable. A lot of times when you buy that older equipment, the liner qualities weren't that great.
Like if you bought a used pair of skates,
or just in
something
general,
like
like I just remember UFS Thrones, they came with the worst liners.
oh yeah,
And then 15 years later, trying to skate the same thing, not.
Night and day.
And that's the thing is like, it's gone production's gone a long way, and a lot of these companies that are still around have had another 10 to 15 years under their belt to be able to develop their products. So like, Razor's Colts, that's a great option right there. It doesn't cost a lot of money, comes with a lot of premium parts, and then you got something new, light, and solid. And I think that's the number one thing. I've seen so many cuffs and buckles and all that other junk break that
yeah,
I really just and don't get me wrong, there are tons of people out there that are like, well, I don't want to spend that type of money, and
Sure.
that's just fine. I feel like replacing wheels and bearings could be a great start if you want to just keep your existing boots. No, I really don't want to spend that much because I mean, you could buy a brand new set of wheels and bearings for like $40, and that would be like something that I myself would be happy riding. So,
sure.
but yeah, I guess wheels and bearings, I would say.
That would be the
that'd
easiest
be
thing.
the lowest, yeah. But if they could go for this whole skate, that would be.
And which skates? So you mentioned Razor's Colt. Is that really? So I'm in the process of reviewing $200 skates, and I think that the $200 mark is a bit
that's
high,
perfect.
but if that's like the high range that I would recommend anybody spends. If if you come out here and you buy a pair of $300 Razor shifts, or if you buy a $500 pair of carbons, like you might not like it. You might just collect dust. Besides the Colts, what do you recommend people like? What's your favorite $200 skate?
Okay, man. So, the Clan, the USD Clan, they call it the 7, so it's a V
Okay.
slash
Yeah.
slash. The sizing's really funky on those,
Okay.
but I think they go for like 189 complete.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty solid. If you
Yeah.
can get the right sizing, that's a great boot. That's made by USD. The Sway's not bad, and that's another boot that you could get complete for under $200. Both come with the MyFit liners and all that other. Well, the Clan does not, but the Sway Montre does.
Mhm.
What else is pretty good? Those would be the power slides that I would consider, and then Razor's Colt. That one. I mean, I remember when I started skating, those were $300, and those were the ones that I always wanted.
Totally.
So, for them to be under $200 now and come with $60 frames,
Yep.
that's pretty nice. And they skate great out of the box.
Yep.
Volos or Majestic 12s, I always felt like that was a great boot for under $200. The Volo / Rossi's frame. I don't see people break those. And it works great with flat. So that would probably be like out of all the ones that I've always ridden, like I've had the most success with the Majestic 12 boot. The Colt boot was pretty good too. And then I would guess that now, I mean, if you talk to the right people and order strategically, you could buy a them skate setup for under $200, like with like a Featherlight setup, like that comes off of a shift or something. So I would probably say them skates right now would probably be my number one, just because it's fits my foot well. It goes to the right people, supporting the right people.
Yep.
Honestly, like for me, hope I don't ruffle too many feathers. But I really don't like supporting companies that don't directly put back into the industry. Like I need to see some tangible contributions, and if not, then I don't care.
That's
So
fair.
and I can see like I went there and I saw John's work. Like John works,
Yeah.
and so with that being said, I mean, and and I don't base that. That's not my 100% why I chose them skates, but it helped. But yeah, I've been very pleased with these. If you guys like SSM soles, this is very similar to the SSM sole. I like, what else do I like that's under $200? I don't know. That's about it.
There's
It's
not
really
much
tough,
else.
right?
Yeah, there's the K2 Front Street.
Yeah.
There's the Rollerblade New Jack Team.
Yeah, the RBs would be cool.
They're
the New
okay.
Jack,
Yeah.
I just feel like I would have been more pleased if they would have dropped the price on the solo
Sure.
and then continued the solo instead of the New Jack.
Right.
Because everyone tells me that the New Jack is a little too wide.
I didn't have that problem, but I have a wide foot
Yeah,
to
you have
begin
a wide
with,
foot.
so it's hard for me
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
subjective.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean those are the skates. So yeah, I think that's great. So definitely Colts. I need to get a set eventually. Try them out. I've heard only good things. The USD 7s or the Sways are great. And then them skates. Let's keep it core. All right, thanks. All right, let me see if there's any questions. If you have questions, hit us up. Nothing. All right. Is there anything you wanted to talk about? Any questions that you might get asked a lot that
Trying to think. What did we just talk about? We talked about best skates for under $200.
Yeah,
and
so
a little bit about
overview of
skates.
them, I think, and then getting back into blading. What's a good setup?
Okay.
Purposely not talking about fitness. Rather just stick with aggressive for this chat. We could talk about high end stuff, like what's the best if you could buy any skate. There's a good question. All right. Come on. So you have a skate shop. You have access to every product available. What is the ideal skate at any price point for you?
Man, that's tough.
For aggressive.
Like if money wasn't an issue.
Money isn't an issue. What are you talking about?
Jeez,
Look at all this product.
Well, I have a wife that I have to answer to.
Fair,
so
that's
tough.
fair, that's fair.
Man, I don't know, man. That one's a tough one because, like, once again, like when it comes down to it, for me, it's like, it's not necessarily. It's like a mixture of things. You know what I mean? Like, so Seba or Seba, they make great products, but I feel very disconnected to them.
Sure.
So it's like, that's awesome. But honestly, like, and I know it sounds really weird, but like I've grown more loyal to what's behind the company, and so I don't know. It's tough. I'd probably say like my ideal skate would be like maybe them skates on my feet, and then like CJ Wellsmore's on my hands. I guess I don't know, so they don't get messed up. I don't know, like because that's the biggest problem with Sebas is like that. I think that's what really screwed it up for me was I remember getting the seat. My mom and dad and my wife pulled together, and they like got it to me as a surprise.
Right.
And it was like right when they came out, and I remember like set sliding something and screwing up, and then just being like, oh man, like that ruined my day, like messing up the skin.
Yeah.
And that's why like now I just like I really don't like spending that much money on the skates because like it's actually really liberating to put on a pair of brand new skates that you paid like $160 for, and if it gets scraped up that day, you're not like super upset because that's the problem with like I don't think I have any up there, but like the Frankie carbons.
Yeah,
the Frankie,
we were
man,
talking
my
about
gosh,
that.
it's like why even put those on to do tricks?
Yeah.
So,
I think Anwar has a pair somewhere.
yeah, Onward has some, and they're just like they're wrecked, and I think that's what I like about. So like my perfect plastic, my perfect skate, honestly, is like something that I can get frequently. Like I and that was the biggest problem with Seba is like, all right, sick. I just bought these $460 boots.
Right.
How long are they supposed to last me? Like 2.5, 3 years at least, and you know, I can barely commit to pizza toppings. So to commit to a boot that long, you know.
Fair. That's
So
fair.
and you know, and that's the biggest problem is that comparative to plastic boots and carbon boots, especially because the carbon boots have these integrated liners,
Mm-hmm.
they last just as long as some of these hard shells, and the hard shells are a fraction of the cost.
Right.
And I mean, you know, it's just carbon fiber's cool, but you know, I'd rather just get something that I can frequently get often.
I hear. I think it has its purpose.
Yeah.
I think if you're doing wizard blading,
Yeah,
if you're
yeah,
doing something where it's really low profile and you need that responsiveness, then it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
For aggressive,
Yeah.
maybe not.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, so like, you'll see on the site or like just here in the shop, like, I really don't have a lot of that
Mm-hmm.
high-end carbon stuff because
Mhm.
it's a really hard sell. You know, most of the people that buy them, I never see again because you know it's like holy shit, I just spent $370.
Yep.
You know, I mean it's a huge investment,
Yeah.
and I feel like the biggest problem with that is that I see it so often. People are like, I'm gonna throw all this money at the boot, and then let me get some Volo frames and some ABEC 5s.
Right.
And I'm like, customer's always right, but like, you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, why don't we like lower the boot quality
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then like, you know, even everything out? But
Yeah.
you know, customer's always right.
Customer service. That's fair.
I'm sure, like people are like, long, like, but yeah, I mean, that would be my ideal skate, something that I could get. Perfect.
I love it.
So
All right. Is there any questions? Let me ask. Going once, going twice.
yeah, like they know enough about long. They don't need. They know how
light
long
are
things-
them skates?
How light?
How light
They're-
compared to M12s, SSMs, and Colts?
So I remember the Majestic 12 was 4 pounds 6 ounces in the 9 boot, and then so the light, or excuse me, the small, them skate is like 4 pound or 2 pounds 3 ounces or something like that. I don't know. Let me just weigh it real quick. I'll be able to tell you.
I know they're light. They're lighter than the Razor Shift.
So this boot right here with frames is 3 pounds 10 ounces.
3 pounds 10 ounces.
And I mean, like, let's just say, let's just grab this. So 3 pounds 10 ounces, and then let's just grab this like size 9 Volo here. This boot alone is 3 pounds 2 ounces. So I mean, and this is like one of the heaviest boots on the market. So let me see if I can find a Majestic or something. It's hard to find any Volos because like I don't have them in stock anymore.
Yeah.
All right, so I have like these like complete David Sizemores with Volo frames. Let's see how much that weighs. So I mean, this right here is 3 pounds 13 ounces.
Got it.
So I mean, and we could talk a little bit more, and I'll break these down and turn them into boot onlys, and then we can try and weigh it again.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, like ounces is nothing.
Yeah.
As long as like. You know.
I think know that the them skate boot is light. If there was a scale with V13 boot only, them skates boot only, they would be at the lighter edge of the scale. And then if you went to like a Volo light or any of the skinned skates, that's at the heavier end of the scale.
Okay, bear with me just another moment. But sorry,
You're good.
should be faster at this. All right,
Done it before.
and there was actually a rock in there, so that was actually going to be a
Super
little heavy.
heavy.
So, all right, so small them skate is going to weigh 2 pounds 7 ounces, and then this is 2 pounds 6 ounces, but it's like a heavy 6. So there's like an ounce in between. So this is
Very similar.
ounce heavier than this. So
Not bad.
lengths are about the same, like shell wise. The width of them skates is a little bit wider. So other than
Especially
that,
around the midsection, it feels like it's a
Yeah.
little wider. More blocky instead of like a boot style.
so but yeah, everything's been very good on these. Been very pleased.
Good stuff. All right. Carbon free. Do you have a carbon free up here?
I don't. Are we trying to do a weight comparison?
Just check the weight.
Oh yeah, that's a carbon right there. But
That's a
I mean,
carbon.
yeah. Works out.
Here's a carbon. Let's see. What was it? 2 pounds 10, something like that. That's 2 pounds 6, and then them 2 pounds 7. So this carbon 2 pounds 6.
So this is a carbon free. Carbon free weighs 2 pounds 9 ounces. So this is actually heavier than a small dim skate. So yeah.
All right. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
This was great.
It's
Anything
fun.
you want to say, or anything we didn't talk
Yeah.
about?
What did I want to say? I could say anything.
You can say anything you want. Nobody's watching.
Nobody's watching. Really?
No. Couple,
I can
dozen-
say
dozen
anything.
people are
I was about
watching.
to say. I was really about to let it loose.
No, don't let it loose. Bad idea.
Alright.
It's on the internet.
All right. Well, I mean, no. I'm good. I'm happy. I appreciate it. And
Cool.
Holler at me. Give me a call if you ever need anything. I'm so sorry if I'm slow to respond. I have a newborn son, and that's an adventure in itself. So, just shoot me a call, message anytime. Oak City Inline Skate Shop. And thanks. Oops.
Thanks, guys.